Good day! Hey, it's me, Stefan, with another edition of Stefan Reads Line News here on Small in Japan, the YouTube channel where we talk about what is big / small in Japan and other stuff. Thank you guys so much for listening. I am Stefan. I am represented by... God, I am tired. But I am represented by Yoshimoto Kogyo, the largest entertainment conglomerate in the country. But don't let that stop you from offering me gigs, because they don't really do much for me. Alright, if you want to follow the show, you can do so on Twitter at small_in_Japan. Find me, Stefan_Tetsu. And of course, be sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz. Whatever you normally do on YouTube videos, do that here too as well. Anyways, let's get to today's news. Today is August 31st, 2022, the year of the devil. Okay, so if this is your first time listening, Line is the biggest messaging app in Japan. It also has its own news tab now, which I am reading every single day on this here YouTube channel. So Line News has 2 rows of fluff stories with pictures and headlines for you to click on that are obviously going to draw the eyes. And then sandwiched in between those 2, you have 3 actual news headlines, which we will get to later in the show. But first, we'd like to power through all that fluff, because that's what we do here. Story number 1 on this 31st of August it's not a story, it's a listicle. Yes, I've been waiting for a listicle to pop up here on Line News, because it's actually done a pretty good job of just giving like short, dumb, pointless stories, but never like long, dumb, pointless stories like a BuzzFeed article or something. But today we get a list of the 10 smartest, according to the university they went, pretty much, members of Nogizaka46 of all time. So Nogizaka46, in case you're just stumbling on this video by pure accident, is the biggest female idol group in Japan at the moment. They have lots of members, and some of these members are apparently smart. But so this article is about like the smartest or like the highest education levels members of Nogizaka46 of all time, and it's pretty much just like every single girl who went to like Keio or Waseda are like listed as smart members here. Keio and Waseda are probably the 2 best private universities in Japan. In Japan, the public universities are generally seen as like a higher ranking than like the private universities. So, like Tokyo University is like is the most prestigious. It's like the Harvard of Japan. But Keio and Waseda are both pretty good universities as well. The girls who went to it or who are going to these universities are considered smart, apparently. So let me just go through the quick list of names here. This is obviously not gonna be of much interest to you if you're not a Nogizaka fan already, and if you're already a Nogizaka fan, I'm sure you probably have already seen this list / the guys on the Slope Club or wherever else you get your idol news have probably already covered this in full detail. And me, as a layman who has no idea who most of these girls are, I have absolutely nothing to add to this discussion. So let's just go through these lists. So number 1, out of Keio Daigaku, is Kitegawa Yuri, who is a current member of Nogizaka46, and she's their Interi Tanto. So she's their designated smart person for the most part. So number 2 is Kuromi Haruka, who goes to Waseda, which is also the second of the 2 good private universities. Number 3 is Akimoto Manatsu, who graduated already. She's still in the group apparently. And she went to Ferris Joshi Gakuin Daigaku, which is that's a rare, not many people, that's like the first time I've ever heard of this university. But apparently it's good if she's listed here in the Kogakureki member list, so good for her. Number 4 is Yamazaki Rena, who went to Keio. Okay, Keio as well. Keio is, of course, good. And out of Waseda Daigaku at number 5, it's Ichiki Rena, who is currently an announcer for Nippon Terebi. She was on 24-hour Terebi over the weekend. She went to Waseda, which is good. And then Saito Chiharu is number 7. Did I skip someone? Wait, no. The list they gave doesn't have a number 6. So this is a top 10 list, and they never actually wrote number 6, which seems like a huge oversight on their part. Hire an editor, for Christ's sake. Oh, no, never mind. For some reason, the formatting of this was off. And number 6 is... wait, hold on. What is going on here? Let me just say number 7 while I try to find number 6. Oh, no, number 6 is Nakamoto Himeka, who went to Waseda as well. Yeah, so lots of Waseda and KOs. Number 7 is Saito Chiharu, who went to Meiji Daigaku, right next to Yoshimoto's comedy school. Number 8 is Sakurai Reika, so we're getting to like all the former members now, who went to Meiji Gakuin Daigaku, which is another school. It's different from Meiji Daigaku, by the way. They're both named for that because they were established during the Meiji period. So Sakurai Reika went to a Catholic school, and then she went to Meiji Gakuin Daigaku, and she also graduated. So number 9, God, this is going a lot longer than I thought it would. Ikuta Rika, who went to Tokyo Ongaku Daigaku, so Tokyo Music College. I don't really know how that's qualifying as Kogakureki, but apparently it does. Number 10, closing out the list, is Hashimoto Nanami. And they don't even list the Daigaku or the university she graduated from. They just give you her name for some reason. So, yeah, that is that. I spent way too much time looking at this list. But that's your top 10. Smart Yoshimoto-zaka got Nogizaka46 members. Moving on to number 2. Let's just power through all this because I spent way too much time looking at that dumbass list. Is an interview with a stand-up comedian from Japan who is going on America's Got Talent, and she gets interviewed about being a stand-up comedian in America and what that entails, and her hopes and dreams of being a stand-up comedian. She's apparently a translator for her day job, but she has also been a dancer and an actress as well, and of course made the natural transition to comedy. One thing that's always interesting to me is how much Japan always tends to overestimate or overrate the impact that America's Got Talent will have on someone's career. So, like, in Japan, they think, like, if you've been in America's Got Talent, that's like, oh my god, you're going to be a huge star in Japan, or in America. Well, really, in a lot of these acts that go on America's Got Talent are going to get more work in Japan as a result of it than extra work in America as a result of being in America's Got Talent. Because in Japan, you can always advertise yourself as, I made the appearance in America's Got Talent. I'm a international star. And in some cases, this does kind of lead to more opportunities. So like West P or Mr. Uekusa is like huge on TikTok now, doing all his weird balancing act stuff. I've translated for him a lot before. I actually used to work with him during like commercial gigs with him. Back in my actual doing jobs for Yoshimoto days way back in the day. But for the most part, no Japanese act to go as America's Got Talent is going to really be a huge star. And I don't think Japan realizes that. So let's get to that second row of stories now. Number 3. Okay, now we're getting to the super pointless story stuff, so we can just power through these. Number 3, Oshirina, or Akiyama Rina, as she is actually known, who is famous for having a nice butt. Like, literally, that's her big charm point, quote unquote. That's what she got famous for. Has had given birth to a third child. Yeah, that's the news story. I guess she announced it on social media, on her blog, that she has had her third child. So congratulations to her. There's no news in this article on whether her charm point of her butt has been affected. Okay, so number 4, the last of the fluff stories, is, oh boy, this is also very much fluff. Fans are impressed by Fujimoto Miki's response to bad service at a restaurant. So Fujimoto Miki is a talent. She has her own YouTube channel, because everyone does in Japan now. She talked about how she responds to bad service at a restaurant. So apparently she went to a restaurant with her kid, and her kid was like, "What's wrong?" And so Fujimoto Miki went to her the server who's giving her bad service and asks, "Is this that sort of restaurant which seems like a total dick thing to say, by the way. Maybe this person's having a really, really bad day. You don't bother asking, hey, what's wrong? You ask, hey, is this the sort of restaurant where you're supposed to be rude to your customer? Which is like a total Karen thing to do, kind of. But anyways, the people watching her video were very, very impressed with this sort of brusque statement on her part. Like, oh, I also want to try this this extremely brusque sense of this really, really, I want to be very, very mean to employees at a store. Yeah. So good job, I guess. I mean, as someone who's worked in the service industry for years, I just have to say, like, just be nice to your servers. They aren't getting paid much, and they're doing a lot more work than you probably do at, like, your blue-collar job, or you as a tarento. Like, sure, like, memorizing scripts and stuff is hard, and I've done that as well. I know how difficult it can be. But compared to, like, people who are doing manual labor for, like, 15 hours a day for, like, 1,000 yen an hour, you have it easy, lady. So just like take a chill pill. Just calm your tits, please. All right, so those are the 4 fluff stories. Let's go to the 3 actual news stories for the day. They're actually pretty short today as well, so yeah, that's good for me because I don't know, my nose is stuffy. I don't know, is it COVID? Probably. It's Japan. Everyone has COVID right now. So story number 1. Speaking of someone who had COVID, Prime Minister Kishida has a press conference about Shinzo Abe's national funeral coming up in the next month. So Prime Minister Kishida, of course, had COVID the last couple of weeks. I think this is his first appearance in a while in person. And he talks about how there's been criticism of the nation having a national funeral for Shinzo Abe because, he's certainly had an impact in many ways. Like, Japan doesn't really do state funerals for former prime ministers. They have in the past, like, once or twice, but it hasn't really been a thing because Japan for the most part, Japan's cycles to prime minister is so fast that if you had a state funeral for every single prime minister, you'd be having like a state funeral like every month, which would get pretty expensive. But one thing that Kishida did say is it's not mandatory for the citizens to mourn. So which is like saying so he's saying that he wants people to pay their respects, but it's not mandatory to pay your respects. But yeah, so an interesting tactic on his part. But, I mean, it looks like they're going to be doing this funeral thing regardless of the blowback. So look forward to all the nonstop coverage of that in the coming weeks. Story number 2, there's a typhoon. We've covered this before. It's really, really strong. It's supposed to be really strong, but it's also moving really, really weirdly. And it's hitting Okinawa today. And it's eventually going to make like a 90-degree turn and start heading north and affect the rest of the country. So this article also has like a nifty little picture of what to do when a typhoon comes, and it says close your blinds in front of your windows in case something like your window breaks, it doesn't like get into your room. But interestingly, this picture also has their couch directly in front of the window, so like even if the curtain is covering up the window when it shatters, you're gonna get glass on your back because there's like a mom and her kid sitting on the couch in front of the thing. Yeah, not smart on this household's part, but I guess this is just a demonstration. And it says always have their TV or radio on to get the latest info, but if the power goes out, they don't really say what to do then. So good luck there. And the last story for today is Prime Minister Kishida, also in the same press conference about the Abe funeral, announces that the country is going to be raising their entry limits for Japan. So now up to 50,000 people can enter Japan per day. This is up from 20,000 people. The thing here, though, is you still have to if you're a tourist getting into the country, you got to get your visa and everything, and you can only get into the country as part of a tour package. Now, one thing they do say here is that you no longer have to have a chaperone for your tour package, so it's not gonna be like a complete North Korean style tour where there's like a government official walking around with you and only taking you to like the perfect parts of Japan or whatever, so you can't really actually go see the part of Japan you want to see. But the tour group has to keep track of like where you're going and what your plans are and stuff. So it's not like before times still. So I'm not sure how much of an effect this is going to have. This is pretty much, you can tell this is a plan made by a bunch of old Japanese dudes who are used to like the only time they ever travel, it's via like a tour package or like a tour company or a travel agent who will buy everything for you, set everything up for you. But most Western tourists in particular aren't going to come into the country like that, right? Like, you want to come into the country and do what you want to do, not what the tour company says you can or should do. So I'm not sure how much an effect this is going to do. Japan wants to increase its tourism again. They need it to happen for their economy to not completely tank. So we'll see if this new raised people limit and slightly less restricted travel agency thing will have any effect. I don't think it will. So anyways, that's the news for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Find me on Twitter, Stefan_Tetsu. Like, subscribe, all of that stuff. Until next time, toodles!